blinkered and groomed by the Democratic Party to, keep going until they can take the state back. And so, and just the shit that happens there is mind blowing. I can't talk anymore about it now, but it's just, hey, it just kind of blows me away. Yeah. So,
well, great job, Angela. You're doing great. And hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Hope everyone's staying cool as possible in this heat wave.
Hey, Henry. How's it going?
Going well. How are you?
Good. And there's Nicole from far away, wherever you are.
Downey.
Downey. Where's Downey?
Far away and hot.
Far away.
It's pretty loud here, so I'm going to stay on mute. This event's just getting ready to start.
Angela, you look great.
Oh, thank you. I'm wearing my US Open hat.
Oh,
because the tennis is this week, and this is where I really would prefer to be, is in New York City, but I'm not. So I'm here in the heat with y'all.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Bob.
Hello.
Oh, okay. Wow, we're already up to quorum.
Hey, Toby.
Hi.
7.
Sorry, my mute was on. I said hi to everyone.
Hello.
Mute.
So we are still missing John, Walter, and Shelley. Do we know whether any of them are going to be here?
No, no idea.
Walter's joining right now, but the others I'm not sure of.
Okay. I haven't heard anything from anybody. Hey, Walter.
Shelly texted me earlier, so I assume she's around, but I'm not positive.
Okay, I'll give people another couple of minutes before we get started.
Okay.
And then I'll try to keep things moving.
Good.
Oh man.
I don't see John. Is John there?
No, I don't see John and I don't see Shelley.
Okay.
Hey, Bob, can you text me the old official address, or email me rather?
Official address of
PLBRA.
Oh Lord, I'm not sure I know it. What was it? 365 Burnside?
No, it's 401 South Burnside. Main floor office 90036, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela.
Are those your cats, Angela? They're so cute.
Yes, that's my
so cute. There's one.
She's very interested in conference calls, and I hate to tell you this, Toby, but I call her a demo cat because she's always on my political conference calls right now.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
he's a cutie pie.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's get started, and hopefully the people that aren't here yet can get here. But let's call the meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. Is there a motion to approve the August minutes? Walter moves. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Toby seconds. Any discussion? I don't see any. Colonel Harris?
Sir, if you look on the first page of the minutes, it says approve August minutes. That's fine. But when you look back at the minutes themselves, in number 1, it says approve August minutes. I think in the August minutes, you mean approve July minutes.
Okay,
We're approving the minutes of something that hasn't yet happened.
understood. Okay, so the August minutes then need to be amended to reflect that that the motion back then was to approve the July minutes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, anybody got any objection to that amendment? I don't see any. All right, so by unanimous consent, that amendment is made. Uh, is there any further discussion on the motion to approve the August minutes as amended? I don't see any. All right, all those in favor, let me know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to assume that Nicole's going to give me a thumbs up at some point. There it is. All right, that's all of us. 8-0. Next, I'm not aware of any campaign speakers who are going to be here today. So current issues. Who is discussing? There's Shelley. Excellent. Shelley, you timed it perfectly. You were able to miss the approval of the minutes. And,
Oh wait, I'm unmuted. Excuse me for laughing out loud.
all right. Who is handling current issues? Who put these issues on the agenda?
Is the mailbox on there?
Yeah, there's 3 issues on current issues. The bill for water on rent doubled, and I can, if nobody else wants to speak about that, I can. Construction noise in the tower and mailbox replacement. I cannot speak about either of those.
When you get to mailbox, I can speak about that.
Okay. All right. So I'll talk about bill on water on rent doubled. I think I looped the board in on this exchange with management. Basically, the bottom line is that the water rates are up all over the city, is what they're saying, and that they haven't changed their formula. It's just the water's gotten more expensive, and that's why all of the water rates have gone up. We have been told, more or less, the formula that they use to divide the water bill among the various apartments, and the bottom line is that it comes down to it's divided up among via something that they call the occupancy factor, which is basically just a number that's calculated based on how big is your apartment, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and how many people are on the lease, and nothing else. So they don't, because the apartments are not separately metered. It doesn't matter how much you do or do not use in your unit. For example, I have 2 people on my lease, and I have a 2-bedroom tower apartment. Anybody else who also has a 2-bedroom tower apartment with 2 people on the lease, according to management, will be paying exactly the same water bill I am, no matter how much we respectively use. So that seems to be what's going on with water. I've not independently confirmed that water rates have gone up, but I do recall seeing news stories to that general effect. So it's at least plausible to me.
Bob, I went to the office about it and he said that because it's so hot and they're watering around Park La Brea more, they're just using more and they're passing the costs on to the residents.
Well,
part of the cost, but
yes. Well, what they should be doing, what they say they do, is subtract off the amount that is attributable to common areas. And if in fact common area water usage is going up while internal usage is not going up, then I agree with you that should not be passed along to the residents.
that's exactly what he said. He's the guy that runs the finances for the towers. I think it's 33 to 41 or something. And so he said several people have asked him and he said, it's just the way it is. We use a lot more water in the summer and we have to split it with you guys.
But what we don't know, I think, I mean, I've already got enough on this. I'll bring it to Michelle. Not that I expect, not that I expect she's able to do much, but
Brad, I was also told when we just had the water main break behind Tower 43, where we lost thousands of gallons of water, that the outdoor water is metered separately from residential water, and actually outdoor water costs are not an issue outside would not impede on resident water bill. And I have that in writing.
that's very useful to know. If you, when you get a chance, Nicole, it's probably worthwhile distributing that writing to the board.
I think you guys were CC'd, but I can send it again, yes.
Okay, I don't remember seeing it, but but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. So thank you. All right, so it sounds like we're getting conflicting information. The one guy, the one guy is saying one thing, and what we have in writing says something else, and so we need to figure out what is in fact correct. But again, I do recall seeing news reports that water rates have gone up significantly. So it doesn't shock me that water bills have gone up significantly.
I have a follow-up question to that for a point of clarification.
I'm sorry, who's talking? Is that Shelley?
It's Holly.
Holly, I'm sorry.
Fine.
Oh, there
That's
you are.
okay. Yes, here I am. So I recall before I joined the board that something that really made me excited was that the Residents Association lobbied, got legislation changed, that we were meant to have clarity on how this pass-through works. And if I recall, it's been over a year since that's been requested from PLBRA management. I see Shelley has her hand up. Maybe you have an answer for this, but I would still like to see the formula.
Okay.
And just point of note, I paid $50 this time. A two-bedroom residence just up the street paid $280 for their water bill.
280?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is just, that's just anecdotal. We'd have to get other information. But I just want to follow up with that and let me know how I can support getting that. I want to see that formula.
So, okay, so where we are on utility pass-through transparency, which is what you're referring to, the report back motion passed on February 14th, 2023. It asked for a report back from the housing department and the city attorney in 60 days. So that report back was due on April 17th, 2023. It still hasn't happened. And therefore the law has not yet changed, because once the report back happened, then city council has to actually pass an ordinance. So we are in no better position to legally require Park La Brea to disclose that information than we were a year ago. I am scheduled to sit down with Katie one-on-one in about a week and a half. And that is absolutely one of the issues that I will again bring up with her. But our leverage is limited, but she's aware that this is a priority, and I'm going to keep it on their radar screen. Shelley.
Yes. Hi. I just wanted to chime in real quick because I had talked to Aaron about this as well, and I haven't independently verified this either, but from what I understand, the water rates they always increase them in July. So if we look back, that's when they will have been increased. And the thing that I found to be shocking, and maybe you can speak to this, Bob, is that the water authority, just since 2018, has increased the rates far above inflation. And, this past year increased again. And I know all of you felt it, and that's why we're all talking about it. What I don't understand is how they can increase it so much in a year where we are not in droughts, water isn't in any shorter supply. And is there any regulatory reach that like city council or anybody has to put them in check of this obvious gouging?
Okay, so our water is supplied by literally the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, which is a city agency. So it is literally the city of Los Angeles that is providing our water. So it ain't a commercial gouge. It might be inefficiency. I can't speak to, but um, and I know that we are not the only ones complaining about water bills. So I'll inquire what's going on there when I speak to Katie. Frankly, I don't really expect to hear anything actionable, but I'll bring up the subject.
Say, I just mention one thing? I lived for many years, part of the year in Massachusetts. Water bills in Massachusetts, along with electricity bills, are vastly higher than they are in California. I can't speak for other states, but there's a marked difference. So.
All right. So with that, I'm gonna move on to the next current issue. Is there anybody to speak to the issue of construction noise in the towers?
I mean, they just told us that in Tower 37, they're redoing four. It's terrible here. I don't know if you heard Angela. I'm trying to do Zoom with my clients. I can't even hear sometimes. They're redoing 4 units, and they just said they're going to be doing that through the end of October. So there's really nothing, I guess, that we can do. But that's what they said.
Okay. Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any constructive suggestions.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything we could do. It's just
There's
tough.
nothing. Yeah, it is super tough, and I understand that inconvenience. I did reach out to Aaron because I know that they did offer their conference room in like the admin office, but also the theater. But then Holly was awesome and was like, "Hey, the theater Wi-Fi doesn't work," and I was like, "Aaron, the Wi-Fi does not work. How do you want people to come in and utilize that space if they can't connect to Wi-Fi and work?" So I did get that Wi-Fi. I can actually post it, maybe the password in the chat, and then also post it on our website. So if you do want to utilize that space, and feel free to use like Zoom and Wi-Fi, I believe have the updated password for that now. If you want to like get a little bit quieter of a space.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
and I have a little bit of commentary because I was pushing back on them really hard because I also have a very Zoom call centric job right now, which is going fast and furious because it's related to the election. And I'm also classified as disabled. So I have to work in my current setup and I have to be able to retreat to a place where I can prop up my wounded leg to help it heal. And they're not prepared for a circumstance like that. So they still haven't offered me any accommodations or any solutions. I even joked about buying an expensive pair of noise canceling headphones for me, and they were like horrified. So as Toby said, there's really not much we can do, but it is kind of shocking to me that they are not, well, why am I shocked? They're not considering, residents who might have differing circumstances who can't just wander over to the theater or go sit in the conference room, as when the mood has it. So anyway.
Right, and you don't know when the noise is going to happen. You don't know when when the noise is going to happen. You could go to the theater and then come back, and then all of a sudden have a call and the noise starts. So it's really not. I appreciate the offer, but it's really not that practical.
Yeah, just as a little editorial, they were doing the bedroom right underneath my office, and not only were they drilling, but both of the guys were standing on ladders and they were blaring music, and one of the guys was singing off key at the top of his lungs. And so I toddled down there. I'm sure I was the picture of a Karen, right? I toddled down there with my cane and I like barged into the apartment and I'm like, "You have to stop this." And none of the guys spoke any English. And so I'm standing there yelling, and then I turned around and walked. As soon as I turned around, the one guy started singing at the top of his lungs again. And somehow I just kind of like made it apparent that he needed to stop. And then I got Aaron to send whatever the name of that company, Rams, a note. So it stopped now, but it was the whole thing was pretty hilarious. So just thought I'd share that story with you.
Yeah.
There is a decibel threshold beyond which it's illegal. And your phone, I think I have an app on my phone that can measure the decibel level.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was going to check that. I figured there probably was an app, but I've been so busy I haven't had a chance to screw around with it. So, but yeah, thanks for that. So.
How does one chime in here? Ryan Catrona. I don't see my hand. I can't get it up.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it was doubly inconvenient behind Tower 37 because for several months, or at least 2, they've been stripping the roof of parking structure 5. Has
Right.
anyone actually witnessed that? Those men had to do it twice, and they did it with handheld machines because they couldn't get a large truck up through the tunnel to the roof. And not only that, there's huge clouds of toxic. I know it's toxic because it was the ground off the roof, clouds of this stuff. That was scheduled at the same time all these apartments are being done in 37. Not only that, but there's nowhere to park. And of course, the parking there, many of whom park on that roof are from this tower, clearly and obviously. So it seems to me that if you were trying to arrange a inconvenient pylon of events, that would be the perfect storm and the perfect way to do it. And that is exactly what is happening right now. Not only that, this thing's been done for a week and it sits empty because they haven't done the lines yet for it. But in any case, today it had to be well above any kind of reasonable decibel. There was a whirring, blowing, grinding kind of machine they had going in the late morning that was just at a devastating level. And I don't know where one goes to get decibel machines and whether anyone would believe you if you said what it was recorded. And you'd have to take that into a courtroom, of course, to litigate it. So this is just going to be walked over.
Yeah,
And there are very many. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know whether these issues either individually or combined raise habitability issues or raise issues with the quiet enjoyment of the tenancy. That's the sort of thing that, as you say, ultimately somebody would have to go to court to hash that
It's
out.
what they're indicative of. The only thing I'm bringing up is what they're indicative of is someone who's making arrangements for a business arrangement where customers there to provide housing, very, very uncomfortable. As to whether it falls in legal bounds, that's going to always be the argument here. I think we're watching that on television right now in other courts. But nevertheless, have at it, because wear your gas masks or whatever you got, or your earplugs, because that's the way it is. I saw a guy, what's his name? DeAndre, excuse me.
I'm going to have to cut this short because we do need to get going for the rest of the day.
I just want to say, report what a PLB employee told me today on the elevator. DeAndre, I asked him, he was with his clipboard going up to 12. And I said, when will this finish? Do you think these 4 apartments? He said, it will never finish because when these are done, they'll be involved in other 4 and so on and so forth.
In the same building?
I'm sorry?
In the same tower? In our tower more?
Of course, it would keep going on and on and on.
Well,
until the whole tower's done, until the whole electricity's done, until the water risers are put through the double floors, have to be blasted through the concrete to finish the plumbing and the electricity here, which is on hold. So that's just a toy that's waiting to happen in Tower 37. If you're in another tower, you have no worries.
Wow, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's a little rough. Okay. Sorry, I took quite so long with that. I understand. Okay. Are you a rep from PLBRA?
No, we're all residents here.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So many. I hear sort of management voices coming on. Nevertheless, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
For being long-winded.
Thank you. Moving on. Mailbox replacement. Holly, is that you?
Yes, I'm making slow progress. That's all I have to say. I have tried going in person and reporting that the mailbox on Allendale Circle has been covered up and knocked off its hinges or its anchors. And now I'm trying to create a USPS account while we're speaking and get logged in to report it to the local postmaster because I couldn't do it in person. So thank you, US government.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Holly.
I guess so.
All right, next. I don't see anybody here from government. And so next will be committee updates, communications committee.
Great, I'll take that on. This is actually going to be in my report later on as well, but I have been working on a template to start asking for resident spotlights. Again, I think my kind of focus that I would love for all of us to go are on the community aspect and the more positive sides of how we can all support each other, call each other out, support each other's businesses. I understand that there are always going to be issues, but I think there's also room to lift each other up. And so I'm gonna start that posting on probably on Saturday, like over the weekend, and ask for individuals to start highlighting their neighbors themselves. Maybe their neighbor had a great story about watching their dog, when they were at work, or helping someone carrying groceries, things like that. I also want to do a highlight and a spotlight of all our board members. I'm going to reach out to you all as well and ask just for like a nice photo that you'd like to choose, a little bit about yourself. Because again, I don't think a lot of our residents here know who's on the board and all the awesome things that like we're passionate about and we're trying to help out. So that's kind of like my twofold on communications and social media is featuring our residents more, building up that community, featuring our board members here who dedicate their free time. And also, this will come later with Nicole, promoting our candidate forum on social media as well. So we'll get to that when we are there. So that's it for social media. I'll pass the baton to Angela for newsletter.
That's me, actually.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Luckily, it's a little low in the volume here at this event that I'm at. So we did a great job of meeting our deadlines for our September publication. Great job, everybody. And then our next publication will be hitting just plus or minus December 1st. So we'll be gathering our content no later than November 13th, team.
Donald.
Mr. President, the newsletter was wonderful, but I wish to bring to your attention that in the masthead, it says volume 35.03. It should be volume 36. It was in the March and June newsletters, correct.
Thank you.
It's a little bit embarrassing.
Thank you. Next, community services, gym pool updates. That would be Toby and or Shelley.
Hey there.
Shelley?
I don't have too much this month. Just to say that there is a new class on Saturdays that I saw, like a hip hop dance class. And also I did chat with Aaron and continued to press and represent everybody's views and cries to have a pool pass only membership. The reasons that Chuck and Icon Fit have given don't make any sense reasonably, rationally, or mathematically, saying it doesn't fit their model or they don't have the operations to take a payment or something, like Square doesn't exist, but it does. So I'm going to keep pressing on them for that. I'm a regular pool and gym member user, and during the day, especially now the kids are in school, there's only like a dozen people there. So, it would actually be in their best interest to have an additional membership form for people that don't or can't use the gym and only to be able to get the pool. So I just want everybody to know and have it be on the record that, we continue to fight for that. And then also, we do have a little bit of a bike rack update. Did you want to tell them, Tove, or do you want me to start?
Well, yeah, you could start. I mean, Erin said next week they're gonna start putting them up.
So yeah, that is correct. And what's going on is they had to survey, the areas to make sure they had good places to put them. And then they had to order the concrete, things are on back supply, whatever. So that finally now the supplies are ready, they're available, they purchased them. And so they're going to start laying the concrete, as Toby said, on Monday. So that will begin. Then the concrete will have to obviously dry, and then they will be able to install the actual apparatuses to hold the bikes. So it's coming, I promise. Their wheels are in play. And so that's the update I have for you on that. Also, I just wanted to add, I don't have it on the agenda, but given the heat wave that we are going to be having, it's already starting, I did ask about cooling stations, and she said that the theater should be open anytime it's like over 90 degrees. So if anybody, who has one of the Signature Series apartments like I do, with the 1965 air conditioner that heats or cools, I should say, a little bit one room or none at all, it should be available to you anytime it's over 90 degrees, which would probably be this whole weekend. So if it's not available, please, call the office, let them know, because it should be available to you during this time. That's it.
Thanks, Shelley.
Thank you, Shelley. All right. Restarting activities, that's listed as Angela.
Yeah, so we did execute our office move. We did the move part. We still have to do the unpack and organize part, which I'm sure we will get to at some point. But the next thing we need to do is actually organize a clean out for the library, because that's the space we're going to take over for activities. So I've got to get a timeline organized around that and try to make it happen before the holidays. And then, so once we have a plan for that, we can start thinking about how we're going to outfit the space. We have been promised furniture by PLB, and we do have a blessing from them to restart this stuff. And then we can start figuring out who we want to partner with to restart these programs. Every time I talk about it with folks who live here, they get pretty excited. So I think this is a good one for us to get focused on. And then my second bullet point, this is not really the place for it, but I just wanted to throw it in there, which is, the second Tuesday of the month, we always have Adam Schiff's field rep come to deal with constituent questions. So he will be here next Tuesday from 2 to 5 p.m. at the PLBRA Theater. Okay, so if anybody wants to organize their immigration status or apply to a service academy, he's your guy.
Also help with federal taxes.
Well, yeah, there's that stuff too, but.
All right, thank you, Angela. Security committee, that's Walter and or John. Both of whom are muted.
Yeah, there we
There
go. Okay, based on information from crimemapping.com and the police blotter, Park La Brea remains an extremely safe area. If anyone feels to the contrary, please let us know, let me know. The only crimes that are marked are theft from automobiles. Now, I don't know if those are other residents stealing from other residents, or it is an issue of, people coming through the gatehouses unchecked, which continues, I think, to be a problem, which I would like to take up with Aaron yet again. All right. There were in the recent past 2 complaints about security crime in Park La Brea. I investigated both, and both of the complaints were absolutely groundless. I found they were really very odd, and I'm not sure what they were about at all. Okay, so that really sums up my report for the month.
Thank you, Walter. Movie committee, Angela again.
Yeah, so we had to postpone our last film, so we're going to show it on September 26th, and it will be Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So we'll get the promotion stuff out. Hopefully, folks will come see it, and then I will plan what will happen after that.
Great. Thank you, Angela. Elections Committee, that's Nicole.
Hi, everybody. We are well underway for our event. You'll notice that our flyer is now on all of the digital screens. We have 2 food trucks confirmed. We have our event map sketched out. RSVP is coming in. So thank you to the entire committee for helping to ensure that our event is planned. And if you would like to join our committee in this final push, we do have very short meetings. Our next meeting is Sunday at 7:30. It's on Zoom, so it's easy to join. And anybody's welcome. You can just email me at secretary@plbra.org if you would like to join that committee work. It's really work burst time more than anything for us to get our actual work done. And we will also be sending out an alert here within a couple of days for a special meeting to consider endorsements, with the hope of bringing those recommendations to the committee of the whole for our October meeting.
Yeah, in other words, the committee is going to make endorsement recommendations on, well, shortly. And then the goal will be to have a special meeting of the board to actually formally vote on endorsements Tuesday, October 1st via email, via Zoom, excuse me. That'll be a special meeting because it turns out October 3rd is Rosh Hashanah, and we'll deal with, so we're probably going to move the October meeting by a week. But we don't want to wait that long to do endorsements. All right. Thank you, Nicole. Moving on and scrolling down. Oh, my report. Okay. All right. So I've already adverted a couple of times. Katie reached out to me to sit down for coffee. So that's scheduled. I can't remember exactly when it is, but I've got it on my calendar. I think it is Wednesday the 18th. So if anybody's got any issues that they want me to bring directly to her attention, let me know. And I will see what I can do to accommodate. I want to take things out of order because I'm going to take things out of order. Window screens. I think the board members probably saw that I sent an email around on window screens. I want to give a shout out and a thank you to Angela for prompting me to take a closer look at the regulations that I was citing. And when I did that, I discovered that the regulation that I was citing is fairly narrow and probably doesn't apply here. So it may well be the case that that as management is now telling us, screens are only required up to the second and third floor. But I have asked them to provide me with the actual authority to that so we can take a look at it and see if we agree that that is what the law requires. And if that's what the law requires, then we'll just see what we can do. I do know that there are some apartments, even in the first and second floors, that includes all the garden apartments, that don't have the required window screen. So at a minimum, we can push on that.
Hey, Bob.
Yes.
I was just gonna just chime in real quick and say, I live in a tower. I'm on the 6th floor. I just called and said, hey, I want screens in my windows, and they came and put them in and didn't charge me.
Oh, I've never tried, but thank you for letting us know that. I think we have
Sure.
board members who
It's
possibly have
$15 per
tried.
screen.
But pre-Aaron
Correct.
administration, when I called and did that, they charged me $80, $40 a screen. Now they don't charge.
Just to put them in? You bought them and they put them in?
And when I first came here in 2018, yeah, I had to pay for each screen, $40 a screen. But now, I mean, I think once it was what Bob is alluding to was brought up, then no more charge. And I called and had a couple more put in just recently, and I didn't get charged for it. Just gotta do a service request like you would, when your toilet breaks.
They'll provide the screen too, or just install it? If you-
Guys, I think that's a very anecdotal thing. I think the core issue is that accounting is screwed up, Shelley, and you got lucky because yeah, Nicole had to pay for her screens.
I just paid
was in a,
200 for my screens.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just paid
so-
$200 for four screens. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
Ryan.
I paid for screens. I paid for screens last month.
Excuse me, Sandy. I do want to get participation, but I
Okay.
got to be able to keep the meeting organized. So
Sorry.
please,
Sorry.
just raise your hand and let me call on you before you start speaking, please. Thank you, Angela. You have the floor.
Well, that was different otherwise.
yeah, I'm done now. I'm just saying that I think that Shelley got lucky. I wouldn't say that that is their standard operating procedure. So, I mean, folks are welcome to call, see what happens.
I talked to Aaron today actually about something else, and we confirmed together that ground floor, floor 1 and 2 are free. Everybody else has to pay. That is the PLBRA policy.
All right. Thank you. Does anybody else want to comment? All right. Next, I want to move to the action item on the agenda. In my report. HSVTA is the Hillside Vista Tenants Association. People who were on the board last year may recall that they asked for our support for an effort to get the city to follow through on acquiring the property via eminent domain, and we voted to give them that support. That ended up being not what happened. What happened instead is that the city negotiated some sort of an agreement with the landlord. I've asked Henry to take a look at it. My own assessment, I've also looked at it. My own assessment is that honestly, it kind of looks like the city sold them out. And that's certainly how they feel about it. And they are again coming to us to ask for our political support to push back. So Henry, you want to say a few words about how you see the proposed agreement?
Sure. Well, I've got two. It is garbage. That was three. I meant to contract its, but this is like I've negotiated a lot of evictions, unlawful detainer settlements, and this is terrible. Like they are, first of all, it's a 72-month payment plan for the back rent, which means that this settlement is enforceable for 6 years. And they are charging interest on the back rent, which I've never seen done. They are going to be able to evict these tenants if they engage in any what is referred to as egregious behaviors, which includes simply recording any of the landlords or their agents, or playing music, or defaming, or committing trade libel. Like this is if the tenants agree to this, the landlord is going to use every small, tiny slight to try to enforce this thing and get them out. This is like, I would never tell a tenant to sign this.
Yeah, let me add a fact that Henry's got no way to know. One of the terms is no amplification of sound in the common areas, which include the courtyard. So a year and a half ago, when I went to visit Hillside Vista Tenants Association, they hold their meetings in the courtyard and they amplify sound so that everybody can hear it. So in effect, what that agreement is trying to do is drive a spike into the ability of the tenants to organize themselves.
And then, yeah, it's really bad. And then if the landlord wants to try to enforce this agreement, they can do it on an ex parte basis, which means they can basically give only 24 hours notice to any of the tenants and basically say, you got to be in court tomorrow to defend yourself against us enforcing this against you. And usually And I want to point out how stupid that is too, because usually I've done that before. Like I've seen that happen before, but usually almost always we usually at least minimum require like 72 hours notice to give us time to like find out what happened, get evidence. This is 24 hours notice and potentially less. Like every time I reread this thing, I notice one more terrible thing about it. Yeah, and the city's like planning on paying this landlord like $20 million or something to maintain these affordable units, which is just, it's not good. So yeah, the city should, I do think the city should not be pressuring these tenants to sign this. It's terrible.
Okay, so I move that PLBRA supports the efforts of Hillside Vista Tenants Association to resist the proposed settlement.
Second.
Okay, is there further discussion?
Yes, I do. Excuse me. The proposed settlement is for, I'm sorry, Ryan Catrona. I cannot find my hand, if you'll forgive me.
Okay.
If I may be recognized, I just want to ask, these are for people who've been out on the COVID and owe money, back rent? Is that the idea?
No, it's actually not that. It's that during the pandemic, the affordability covenants expired. And so the landlord immediately during the pandemic hiked their rents.
I see.
All right. Any further discussion?
What's to say?
I don't see any. All right. All those in favor, let me know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yes.
7, 8, 9. I don't see John.
He might not be there.
Okay, I'm going to mark John as an abstention.
There he is.
Oh, there he is. That's a yes. All right, 10-0. That's all of us. All right. And then finally, John, so I think we should all be here for this. The discussion of advocacy philosophy. For those of you who aren't on the board, there's been an internal discussion on the board concerning the sort of appropriate level of advocacy that either we as an organization or individual members of the board should undertake. And I certainly have my view, and my view is not unanimous on the board, but I also recognize that the views that differ from mine are both in good faith and have a fair amount of legitimacy and force behind them. So I wanted to have an open discussion to anybody who wants to discuss what we should and shouldn't be doing in our advocacy efforts. And if somebody else would like to launch that discussion, I would welcome that. If nobody else wants to, then I will start. But my preference is for somebody else to.
I don't think it's a good idea, Bob. I don't think it presents a format for a structured discussion. I think we should hold it separately as a board, and if people would like to attend, we can certainly let them know when that's going to happen, but I wouldn't do it here.
I agree. I don't think that this venue is appropriate for this discussion.
On that score, are these incidents and comments here on these meetings, are these reported to Prime PLB in the admin, casually or otherwise?
Well,
You mean
we take minutes.
Who says what, where? Does this sort of an exchange go back and forth between management and PLB as what the tone of a meeting was, or who said what?
Brian, this is Nicole. I'm the secretary of the club. Our minutes are public record.
I'm sorry,
So
you're getting a little garbled. Can you speak slowly?
My name's Nicole. I'm secretary of PLBRA Residents Association. Our minutes are public record and they are posted on our website. So if anybody from management wanted to look at the minutes, certainly they could, but we do not send them to them or, intentionally engage. But this is a public meeting and those minutes are public record.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're welcome, sir.
The level of detail about the ins and outs of the discussion tends to be not particularly high. Ryan, if that's the rest of your question. I think it's uncommon, perhaps even rare. I don't think it's completely unheard of for specific comments to be attributed to specific people, but that's certainly not the general rule.
I see. Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, then, if we're not going to have that discussion, then my report is done. Vice President
Great.
Ashley.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. So I just have a few things to report. I did follow up with Aaron on just a couple things. I didn't have, unfortunately, the bandwidth to meet terribly long. So in our quick 30 minutes, I was able to pull some things from her to relay back to you all. First one being landscaping and kind of like that dead grass and making our community prettier again. And now that the irrigation system is fixed, as we know it was broken for a while, unbeknownst to management, it is now fixed. And even though it's hot, we should start seeing some of that pretty grass come back again. There are still areas that she mentioned, especially in Curson Square, that need that extra fertilizer. But once construction is done in that area, they're going to prioritize that, reseed it, and we should have a really nice, pretty focal point again. In Curson Square, as we know, the fountain was I guess damaged, or if it just broke on its own. And they are looking to get a new one. Why I mentioned this is because she has looked into it, and to get basically the same one again, it's going to cost about $1 million. Yeah, which is fair. I do believe it. Like, I do believe like a big, nice, like heavy fountain like that is going to cost hundreds of thousands at least, right? It's not going to be only 100K. And so that fountain was built originally back in, I think she said 1995. And so their goal is still to try and find a fountain that is affordable, still pretty. But she did mention, like, if there's another space that the residents want to incorporate it as, maybe we can all work together and pull that out of like residents and bring that back as like an option, like a reimagined space, right? Like maybe it's and I'm just throwing options out, so bear with me, but like a pickleball court or like a nice like seating area. Or maybe all the residents still really do just want the fountain, and that's fair too, and that's what we relayed back. But it is quite a hefty cost, and so they just wanted to see what the other options that the residents would like to see. Is it more seating instead of the fountain? Is it an activity spot of some sort, or do we still want the fountain? So again, I'm just relaying what I've been told, but I think it is a good opportunity to voice what we do want to see in that space.
Madam Vice President,
Mhm.
it's the Burnside Circle.
Oh, I'm sorry, Burnside Circle.
And that fountain, by the way, was built sometime after 98, sometime around 2000. That circle was redone in 2000, 2001. It's unfortunate that they didn't maintain it. And that's the way the pagodas went too. $1 million fell down. Well,
All right.
thanks.
And actually, you've got more on your report?
Yeah, just one more. And so the other thing that I want to do, I'm also similar with Angela, just trying to see what activities we can start back up again. One thing that I have been noticing an increase in my personal kind of like a professional development are the need for resume and cover letter supports. I think with the new school year starting up, kiddos are wanting to strengthen their resumes. Maybe it's a new career chapter for individuals. I think that would be lovely to kind of like help offer that. That is something that I took on in my role at USC for graduate students. And so if the board and if residents think that that is something that would be nice to offer residents and kind of just like, again, free of charge, help your resume to find either your next opportunity or apply for like your summer job or winter job, like a seasonal job. Again, I'm just trying to think of more ways that we can give back to the community that are free of charge, right? Like we don't have to pay anything, a little bit easier. and still something that they can get value out of.
All right. Thank you, Ashley, and thank you for that creative and I think very useful idea.
Awesome. Thank you all.
All right. Treasurer's report, Angela.
Hi. So things are about the same as they usually are. I just want to point out we had two big expenses in August. The first one was our annual charge for our website for Weebly and Square, which was $312. And then we also had to renew our network solutions, our domain, which is actually a renewal, I think, for 3 years. So that was $227. So we'll have to make it up in advertising sales, y'all. So that's where we stand.
All right. Thank you, Angela.
Can you skip me for a
Secretary.
minute and do a public comment and then come back to me?
Nicole, is your report.
Can you skip me and do public comment and then come back to me?
Oh, okay, yeah. Actually, before we do that, as I mentioned, our October meeting would normally be October 3rd, which is Rosh Hashanah. October 10 is clear of the Jewish holidays, and therefore I move that our October meeting be held October 10. Is there a second? Toby seconds. Discussion. I don't see any. All those in favor, let me know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yes.
6, 7, 8, 9.
Yes.
I think that's all of us. All right. All right. So that passed. Let's do public comment and then we can come back to Nicole. Donald.
Could someone speak to the status of our office move from Tower 39 to Tower 37? The Tower 39 area is now being prepared for packages.
Angela did speak to that. Angela reported on that. Angela, would you like to say again what you said?
Yeah, we have moved the office. We did that several weeks ago.
What is the status, ma'am? Is it open for business? Is it?
No.
Nice.
We've got to organize. We've got to organize the space. Why is my hand up? So which we haven't done yet. But we don't use the office that much anyway, so it's not a desperate need for us right now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Shelley, your hand's up. Did you have a comment?
Yeah, I just had one more thing, just adding on to what was said about the watering situation. I also asked specifically, I live in Tower 34, and my grass is just all dead. And there was like a funky smell a couple times. And so I just wanted anyone to know, as I spoke with her about this, anybody that's over in my area, so 34, 35, 36, 37, what was told to me was that we use an underground well to water, and there has been like a bunch of sulfur in there, and that's why it hasn't been watered, because when it does, we get the funky smell. So they are working on how to clear that up and clean that out so that, you know, we don't have the smell, and that we do once again, you know, have water to water the grass so it doesn't die. So I just wanted to kind of let you all know that that's what's the status is over in that part of the property. That's it.
Thank you, Shelley. All right.
Bob,
We
I'm
have,
available to share now if there's no other public comment.
I don't see any other public comment. Please go for it.
Okay, great.
Oh, wait.
Thank
Okay,
you
go
for
ahead. Yeah,
handling the motion.
go.
Thank you for handling the motion for the meeting change. That was going to be one of my items, so perfect. And Ashley, please record my vote as a yes, so that's 10-0. Sorry, I was having my photograph taken in front of 200 people at that exact second. For the secretary's report, I just want to remind everybody that we will start renewal communications in October. So we are gearing up for that, and we'll also be notifying anybody who has Give Butter auto renewal turned on, and they are aware they do under the Give Butter format, that they have that auto renewal feature turned on. And then we'll be meeting October 10th, and we'll have a special meeting notice coming out. And I think that concludes my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, there being no further business, is there a, yes, Dan,
Yeah, hi. So this is time for me to chime in.
please.
Okay, so the water situation sounds totally bizarre, where we don't know what we're paying for, how much is being used for public areas, and it's like very high for some people and very low. I don't understand why that can't be regulated. The fountain price sounds ridiculously high. There's going to be a rocket launch, if you can view to the west, in at 8:20. You'll see a Starlink rocket go across the sky. And I'll be happy to help Angela with the unpacking and also Nicole with that political thing. And I have a canvassing proposal to try and increase membership. And I wanted to know if I could submit that somehow.
Please.
And who do I send it to?
Dan did give it to me, but I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to reflect on it. I'm so sorry, Dan.
Okay.
Angela, can you forward it to Ashley and I, because we've been talking about a canvassing proposal, so
Yeah,
we can get back
sure.
to Dan.
Ashley and
absolutely.
Nicole.
Copy me as well, please.
Okay.
Thanks, Dan. We'll gladly accept your free labor.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Seeing no other business, is there a motion to adjourn? Okay, I saw Henry move. I saw Angela second. That is not debatable. All those in favor, let me know. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's all of us. We are adjourned at 8 o'clock on the dot. Thank you, everybody.
Night, everyone.
Bye.